Tonight, Steelers Nation, we've got some surprising news you cannot afford to miss. From a big injury update that could shake up the Steelers' defense, to breaking quarterback stories across the AFC North, and even whispers of a star wide receiver possibly forcing a trade, tonight's show is packed. So stay locked in, because every second matters. But before we jump into all the latest updates, a quick reminder. If you love getting Steelers news faster than anyone else, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and don't forget to ring the bell icon. That way, you'll never miss a single breaking story. Now, let's move on to the big news. Let's start with the latest on Jalen Ramsey. According to Steelers insider Nick Farah, Ramsey is expected to return after the Bengals game. The good news? Joey Porter Jr. should be ready to go against Cleveland. One corner out, another corner back. But that's been the story of the Steelers' secondary all season. It feels like every time one player gets healthy, another one goes down. And if you think this injury news is important, wait until you hear what's happening with two AFC North quarterbacks. One of them could change the balance of power in the division. So here's what this really means. Jalen Ramsey is likely going to be out for the next two games, against the Browns and the Bengals, as he works his way back from that hamstring injury. Calvin Austin III is on a very similar recovery schedule, though it sounds like he might only miss one of those games. Now, the big question, can the Steelers survive without them? Honestly, yes. The Browns are rolling with a rookie quarterback, and Mike Tomlin's track record after a bye week is excellent. Add the fact that the game is in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers should be able to take care of business. As for the Bengals, well, they've been a mess this season, struggling on both sides of the ball. Without Joe Burrow, they don't look like a contender at all, and that Thursday night matchup could play right into the Steelers' hands. But here's where things really get interesting. The Steelers need these guys healthy for what comes after. Green Bay under the primetime lights, the Colts with an underrated roster, and then a road trip to face the Chargers. That stretch could define the season. The good news? Jalen Ramsey, Calvin Austin, and Alex Highsmith are all expected back just in time for that run. And if the Steelers can get healthy right before that brutal stretch, their momentum could shift in a big way. And speaking of momentum, things are heating up in Cleveland. The Browns just made a bold quarterback move that could change everything in the AFC North. The Cleveland Browns have officially handed the offense over to rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel. Now, Gabriel isn't the flashiest name, but he brings something the Browns desperately need: quick decision-making. He processes the field before the snap, gets the ball out fast, and avoids taking unnecessary hits. Compared to Joe Flacco, who looked completely out of rhythm, this is a major upgrade. Flacco's time as a true starter is long gone, and Cleveland knew they had to make a change. Gabriel may not be perfect, but with the Browns' defense playing at such a high level, he gives them the best chance to stay competitive. The only problem? He's about to run into Mike Tomlin. Tomlin's record against rookie quarterbacks is staggering. He wins more than 90% of those games. And with Cleveland's offensive line struggling badly, Gabriel is going to face constant pressure. The Steelers at home, fresh off the bye week, are in a prime spot to make his debut a nightmare. But it's not just Cleveland making headlines in the AFC North. Baltimore is dealing with drama of its own. Earlier reports suggested Lamar Jackson would be out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, but now NFL insider Ian Rappaport says Lamar is week to week and could even play against Houston. The Ravens sit at 1-3, and they're running out of time. Another loss could bury them deeper in the standings, and the pressure is mounting. Here's my read. I don't think Lamar suits up this week. Baltimore wants the Texans to prepare for him, but he hasn't practiced, and it's hard to believe he'll be ready by Sunday. In fact, he may end up missing next week's game against the Rams as well. And if that happens, the Ravens' season could start slipping away fast. And just when you think things can't get any more dramatic, one of the league's top wide receivers might be on the verge of forcing his way out of Philadelphia. Could the Steelers be the team to land him? The truth is, the Ravens' season may come down to whether their backup can steal a win against the Houston Texans this weekend. Baltimore is already walking a tightrope, and every loss digs the hole deeper. These next 2 weeks will decide if they're still in the fight, or if their season slips away before the midway point. But let's shift gears to Philadelphia, because something strange is happening there. After the Eagles went over the Buccaneers, superstar wide receiver A.J. Brown posted a cryptic message on social media. Now, Brown had only 2 catches for 7 yards in that game, a shocking stat line for one of the NFL's elite playmakers. And this isn't the first time frustration has bubbled up. We've seen the sideline arguments, we've seen the subtle shots, and now the silence in the box score is starting to get louder. For a player of his caliber, Not being targeted is more than just a bad night. It's a warning sign. And with Brown's history of tension in Philadelphia, the question has to be asked, is he quietly pushing for a way out? A.J. Brown has once again shown his frustrations, and this time, he didn't hold back. After Sunday's game, he posted on social media, "If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way." Well, let's be honest. Putting that out for millions to see is making a scene. And it instantly raised questions about his future in Philadelphia. Now, if, and it's a big if, A.J. Brown were ever to be traded, Pittsburgh would almost certainly be on his short list. Why? Two reasons. First, Arthur Smith, the Steelers' offensive coordinator, coached Brown during some of his best years in Tennessee. That's a system he already knows and thrives in. Second, one of his closest friends and college teammate, DK Metcalf, is here in Pittsburgh. The idea of those two reuniting in black and gold would be a dream come true for both players. But here's the reality check. The odds are stacked against it. Philadelphia isn't eager to move him. He's under contract, he's their top receiver, and without him, their passing game would collapse. Unless Brown flat out refuses to play another snap for the Eagles, which he hasn't done, the team won't even entertain trade offers. In fact, he's already tried to smooth things over with an apology at a press conference. And even if the Eagles did put him on the market, there's another roadblock: the price. A.J. Brown is a top 5 receiver in the NFL, and Philadelphia would demand a massive return, likely a first-round pick at minimum. For a Steelers team that values its draft capital, that's a steep cost. A.J. Brown is without question one of the NFL's elite wide receivers, in the same tier as Justin Jefferson and Ja'Marr Chase. Which is exactly why Philadelphia would demand a king's ransom to even consider moving him. We're talking at least a first-round pick, maybe even 2. And that's where Pittsburgh simply won't bite. The Steelers are holding on to their top draft picks with the future in mind, especially at quarterback. That makes an A.J. Brown trade little more than a fantasy for now. But while wide receiver dreams fade, a very real question is brewing inside the Steelers' locker room. Who deserves to start at edge rusher when highsmith returns? Because here's the thing. Nick Herbig hasn't just filled in, he's dominated. Over the last 3 games, he's racked up 10 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and even an interception. That's game-changing production, and fans are starting to wonder, should Herbig keep the starting spot, even when Highsmith is healthy? On one hand, Highsmith is proven. He's disruptive, reliable against the run, and versatile enough to drop into coverage. On the other, Herbig has been relentless, maybe even more impactful in his short time than Highsmith has ever been. It's a rare situation where the Steelers don't have a weakness. They have 2 strong options fighting for one role. And the decision isn't just about who starts. It's about how the Steelers want their defense to evolve. Do they stick with the steady veteran presence in Highsmith, or do they hand the reins to a rising star who's been wreaking havoc every single week? Nick Herbig isn't just playing well, he's playing out of his mind. 3 games, constant disruption, and an energy that refuses to be ignored. And if he keeps this up, how do you take him out of the starting lineup? The answer might be, you don't. But here's where it gets even more exciting. The Steelers' coaching staff has hinted at a bold plan, one that doesn't force a choice between Herbig and Highsmith. Instead, imagine this: T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig all on the field together. 3 relentless pass rushers unleashed at the same time. Think about it: second and long, third and obvious passing downs. That's when Pittsburgh could roll out its own version of a NASCAR package. 3 edge threats twisting, stunting, and crashing the pocket from every angle. Quarterbacks won't just be pressured, they'll be hunted. And if this trio stays healthy, it might be the most dangerous edge rushing group in the entire NFL. This could become the Steelers' true identity, a defense that doesn't just bend or break, but one that smothers opponents and takes over games. With Watt's dominance, Highsmith's reliability, and Herbig's sudden rise, Pittsburgh's pass rush could go from really good to flat-out unstoppable. And while the focus is on the big names, there's also a bittersweet note. Young fan favorite Sebastian Castro, a promising undrafted free agent, has been scooped up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pittsburgh hoped to develop him for the future, but Tampa Bay clearly saw the same potential and moved quickly. It's a reminder of how tough it is to hold on to talent in this league. So, best of luck to Sebastian Castro as he starts his new journey with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's always tough to see young talent leave Pittsburgh, especially when the future looked bright. But that's life in the NFL. Opportunities shift quickly, and every roster spot is a battle. As for the Steelers, this moment reminds us of something bigger. The margin between good and great is razor thin. Every decision, every player, every snap matters. Whether it's the rising force of Nick Herbig, the steady dominance of TJ Watt, or the uncertainty surrounding stars like A.J. Brown, one thing is clear: this team is at a turning point. The question isn't just about who starts or who stays. The real question is, can Pittsburgh turn all of this raw energy and star power into something lasting, something that pushes them beyond the ordinary, into the elite tier of the NFL? That answer is coming. And when it does, the Steelers' story this season won't just be about wins and losses. It'll be about resilience, identity, and whether this team can finally prove that they belong among the very best.